welcome everybody. If I have not yet met you and you're wondering, where's Dr. Trish? I am Coach Trish. My name is Trish Chappett. I'm the health coach here. And I do these webinars alternating with Dr. Trish. We often do every other month, or she does a couple, I do a couple. So you might see her, you might see me, depending on the month. So I am your host this evening for the many modes of meditation. What is meditation? Let's start there. As many of you know, meditation, sitting, you might envision somebody sitting like this, in silence, but there's so many different ways to meditate. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things related to meditation today, not just sitting cross-legged, with our eyes closed and chanting, but lots of different ways that you could incorporate this. So I'm really delighted to talk about this topic. It's something that I've really evolved over the years in my own life, and that I've seen a lot of other people benefit from. And what I'd like to start out doing is just defining meditation. So meditation is really a practice that an individual uses to focus their mind on a particular object, a particular thought, or an activity. The purpose of meditation is to train your attention and your awareness, and to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm state. So let's just think about that for a second. And I think some of what people get hung up with meditation is that they think if they cannot completely clear their mind, they can't meditate. And really what I've learned in my own practice and from others who practice meditation is that you don't necessarily need to have a completely free and clear blank slate of a mind in order to meditate. It's really just that you become experienced to let the thoughts flow, so that you don't have the thoughts kind of getting stuck, so to speak. You're not sticking on one thought or another. You're just letting them come and go, and you're able to just refocus on the breath or refocus on a mantra. And it's not that those thoughts don't exist, but you don't get hung up on them. So, sometimes people who are new to meditation say to me, well, but how do I empty my mind? I'm so busy or whatever. And you don't really need to worry about that. That will come over time, where you'll become more calm. But it's more of a letting go of the thoughts. And we'll get a little bit further into that, and we can talk a little bit more about some techniques to help with that. So let's talk a little bit about, how does meditation affect your brain? And, why is it so beneficial? How we're able to mold our brain is amazing. The brain has what's called neuroplasticity. We can change the brain over time, even as we get older, right? Little did we know, some people think you can't change the brain past a certain age, but the neuroplasticity of the brain is just amazing. And in our brain, meditation affects the lateral prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for emotional responses, habits, and logic. It affects the medial prefrontal cortex, which affects processes related to your perspective, feelings of empathy. It's often referred to as the me center. It affects the insula, which monitors bodily sensations and is involved in those gut feelings that we all get, right? The amygdala, which is the fear center, and that's the fight or flight response. We get that from the amygdala. But there's not going to be a brain anatomy quiz, so don't worry about all these details. The point is that meditation directly affects our brain in a number of ways that are beneficial. Meditation can also help with anxiety. The more you meditate, the more your anxiety decreases, because the neural pathways that link upsetting sensations to the me center of the brain are declining when you're meditating. In other words, you'll be able to more easily ignore intense feelings of fear, anger, and anxiety in general when you meditate, because you're changing those neural pathways. So you're actually creating new connections in the brain and changing old habits of the way that the brain reacts to things. So meditation versus mindfulness. People sometimes get these two terms confused, or they've been long debated because they're very similar. The main difference between the two for our purposes tonight is that meditation is a term that encompasses the practice of acknowledging thoughts in order to self-regulate them. To achieve purposeful meditation, one must practice many techniques and tactics, and one of those is mindfulness. So mindfulness is one of the things that helps within meditation. Mindfulness, in a nutshell, is the act of focusing on being in the present and being aware of your surroundings in a grateful manner as often as possible. So everyday mindfulness, you can practice this in many ways. You can be mindful of your food, giving it your full attention, noticing the smell, taste, and temperature as you eat it. So that's a great opportunity, whether it's at breakfast, lunch, dinner, to, just take a few moments and really be mindful and focus on what you're eating. You can practice this the next time you eat something like a piece of chocolate. Let it sit, melting on your tongue. Take a moment to taste the sweet notes and the flavors. Take a moment to explore how many ways could you describe it, right? Really focus your mind on what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be chocolate. It could be a nut with that texture and the crunch. It could be a piece of fruit with the juicy and sweetness. It could be a raisin with all those little wrinkles, or any type of food, right? Maybe a bowl of soup with the various flavors and spices and the warmth. So anything you're doing around food is an opportunity for mindfulness. You can also try this while you're washing the dishes or washing your hands, right? Brushing your teeth. You can focus on the water, the coolness, or the warmth. If you're washing your hands or washing the dishes, you can focus on the suds, the feel of the sponge or the washcloth or the soap in your hands, and just take a moment and really focus on what you're doing. That's a great opportunity for mindfulness. You can never have too much mindfulness, right? It creates space to let new information in and to allow us to see how it relates to what we already know. It's also a way to let go of judgments and just exist, just focus on the moment, right? There's always so much focus on the past, on the future, and on where we're going and what we're doing, and so many busy kind of thoughts going on in our minds, that mindfulness just really allows us to focus on this very, very moment, just in the present. So here are a few ways you can incorporate mindfulness into your day. You can create new patterns. You can try an if this, then that message for yourself. So for instance, if I see the office door, I'm going to take a deep breath before I start my workday. So I'm about to walk in the door. That's my signal to take a nice deep breath. Or if the phone rings, I'm going to sit up straight, take a breath, and then answer the phone. Each intentional action will strengthen your brain and create healthy habits. And it's, again, creating those new neural connections and those new moments for mindfulness. And after a while, this just becomes second nature, right? So you do this enough intentionally, you start to just do it without even realizing, and you're then living more in the moment. Another idea, wake up with a purpose. As soon as you wake up, before you touch your phone or do whatever else you do in the morning, take 3 long, nourishing breaths through your nose and out through your mouth. Ask yourself what your intention is for that day based on what you need to accomplish, or what you would like to achieve, or how you would like to feel. Is there any way you can fit in some self-care to support those goals? So wake up with a purpose, take a nice breath, set your intention for the day. And your intention doesn't have to be something busy. It doesn't have to be a taskless kind of intention. That intention can be, today I'm going to be positive. Today I'm going to live in the moment. Today I'm going to express gratitude, whatever your intention is for the day. The third one ties into what we were just talking about. Learn to savor your food. Take your first 3 bites mindfully. Experience the taste, the texture, the flavor. Are you really feeling true enjoyment from this food? Are you taking your time and getting all the sensations out of it that you could? And are you relaxed so that you're ready to rest and digest? Not only is this a practice in mindfulness, but it's also helpful for our gut health, because digestion starts in our mouth. And too often we're just rushing and not really giving our body the proper time to digest our food. The next piece, you may have already heard and associated with meditation, if you know anything about meditation, are mantras. Well, mantras are just simple words and phrases, and they have the power to interrupt negativity, to invite change into your life. They could be song lyrics, they could be Bible verses and quotes from people we admire, or authors, or something that just hits you from maybe a poem or something you've read. Mantras can play a significant role in how we live our lives because we're giving ourselves these positive messages. They work because the messages they convey sear into our minds and actually begin to influence the way that we live if we let them, right? So mantras can be very powerful. They've been around for over 3,000 years, and many are practiced in Sanskrit, which is considered by some to be the perfect language, as its correct pronunciation is believed to evoke a vibration into the universe that helps place to motion whatever you're trying to manifest through your mantra. So here are a few examples, right? You may have seen the kind of stereotypical meditation where somebody's sitting cross-legged and they've got their hands on their knees up to the ceiling, and they've got their eyes closed and their fingers are touching and they're saying, Om, Om. This is what a lot of us think of in terms of meditation. And the reason is because Om is said to vibrate at 432 hertz, which is the natural musical pitch of the universe, as opposed to 440 hertz, which is the frequency of most modern music. So Om, which has been around for thousands of years, is said to be in tune with the pitch of the universe. Another mantra, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo, which means I call upon the divine wisdom and bow to this wisdom. And this is one of Oprah's favorite mantras to use, apparently. But you don't have to know Sanskrit in order to have your own personal mantra. Mantras can be short and simple, or they can be a little longer and more detailed, and you can change them up depending on what you're looking for. So here are a few examples. Here's a longer one. I am grateful for all that is unfolding in my life and all that is yet to come. A tiny mantra might be, I am enough, or just keep moving. Those could be mantras. Anything can be used as a mantra. For example, I'm healthy and happy, or I am blessed, or I have everything I need, or just for today, I will live in the moment. So stop for just a moment, close your eyes, think of a short, positive phrase or two that could be your mantra. And this doesn't have to be the one that you stick with, but just what comes to mind for you. And if you feel inspired, feel free to share it in the chat. Vision boards are another tool that can help narrow down your desires through the power of choice by helping you invest the time and energy to visualize exactly what you want for your future. And this can tie into your meditation. It could tie into your mantra. It could tie into visualizing, when you've got busy brain, where you want to go, maybe a beautiful scene or something that you're looking for in your life. So this could be something that becomes part of your meditation practice. When you continue to give your attention to things that you want, you'll attract those things into your life because your energy goes where your attention flows, right? You may have heard that saying before. If you're focusing on something, that's where you're putting your energy. That's probably what you're going to be attracting in your life. So think about one thing that you would put on your vision board if you were to make a vision board. So part of being present and practicing meditation effectively means being able to let go of negative thoughts, right? You'll notice that when we were talking about the mantras, they're all focused on positive things, right? Positivity. And I know that task is easier said than done for many people, right? Humans are hardwired for negative thinking. It's just sort of our default for many people. So a few options to clear out the bad, make room for the good and the positive. Write it out and transfer that train of thoughts running through your mind onto paper. And then you could crumple it up and throw it away. We used to have, when we did the transformation of stress class here in person, we had a stress jar, and it was filled with water and essential oils. So it smelled nice. And every time people would come in at the beginning of class, they would write down whatever their troubles were, whatever was bothering them that week, whatever was kind of negative that was on their mind, crumple it up, put it in the stress jar. And it just was labeled that said, dissolve your stress. And over the months and the years, all that stuff has just faded away. The ink is gone, the paper is just kind of dissolving, and we just leave all our stresses for the day in the stress jar. And that was a wonderful kind of meditative practice to just let things go. You can also work it out, right? Go to the gym, go for a run, go for a bike ride, walk in nature, do something that takes that anger, that anxiety, or that angst, or the busyness, and just actually, physically work it out. Dancing, yoga, running, lifting weights, whatever makes you feel good and turns that energy into positive energy can be helpful. And that's where we get into more active meditation, right? So meditation doesn't always have to be just sitting on a yoga cushion, cross-legged, or laying down in a relaxed position. You could go for a walking meditation, right? Sitting still for long periods of time is not for everyone. It's important to acknowledge that, right? Don't force yourself into something that doesn't fit for you. For those of us who are fidgety, shaky, or generally don't enjoy sitting, try a walking meditation. So that involves deliberately thinking about the way you do a series of actions that you usually do without thinking, right? So as you walk, you can notice the lifting of one foot, the moving of the foot forward from where you're standing, the placing of your next foot on the ground, the shifting of your weight. So just start to notice sort of the sensations. Notice what's around you. You get the idea. You're kind of focusing your mind more on the physical things rather than on whatever is going through your head while you're walking. You can focus your attention on your speed, on how your arms swing, or where your mind wanders, right? Just notice that and then kind of let it go. If you can do a walking meditation in nature, you'll get even more benefit. You can stop and listen to the sounds of the birds, the wind, or the water, depending on where you're walking. You can feel the breeze or the sun on your skin. And there's so many benefits of being in nature. So walking meditation in nature is great. It's one of my favorite forms of meditation personally. Another way to meditate is by doing a body scan. Typically, this takes 20 to 45 minutes, but you can do shorter body scans, and we're going to do one just in a moment. This can be performed while laying down, sitting, or in any other posture, really. It just involves taking the time to notice and sense pressure, tightness, or tension on every part of your body from your toes to the crown of your head, or from the crown of your head down to your toes. It's your body scan. You can do it in whatever way you want. Be sure that you're taking some deep cleansing breaths the whole time and allow every part of your body to soften with the goal of reaching total relaxation. So if 20 to 45 minutes is too long, you don't have that kind of time, you can do a mini body scan. So I'd love to try a little short version with you right now. So if you're willing to try this, get comfortable. You can be seated, you can be laying down, however you want to just get comfortable. Close your eyes. This will just take a moment. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Take one more deep breath. Let it out. Now, on your next breath, I want you to search your body for any pressure or any tension. It might be that your shoulders are a little bit hunched or crunched up to your ears or tense. It might be the pressure on your seat if you're sitting in a chair. Maybe it's your wrists or your feet. Wherever you feel tension, let your breath come in and out. Now focus your attention on whatever tense spot that is and let it soften. Just pick one. Take a deep breath, let it go to the tense spot, and let it go. You can do this anytime. You can do it from head to toe, as I said, working from the crown of your head through your forehead, relaxing your eyes, going down your face, relaxing your jaw, letting your teeth separate, relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders, going down your arms, relaxing your chest and your stomach, relaxing your thighs, your calves, your ankles, and your feet. Now just taking a nice deep breath, letting it go, letting all that tension melt away. And that only took a couple minutes, right? So you don't need 20 to 45 minutes to do a body scan. If you're going to go really intentionally through every little bit, you can go through your fingers, each one, you can go through your wrists, through every little joint, then that could take a lot longer. But you can just take a minute or two, do a little body scan. Where am I holding tension? Let me soften that place. What that also does while we're doing the body scan, our mind is probably not worrying and thinking of the 20 other things that we need to get done, or our taxes, or, that fight you had with somebody yesterday, or whatever else is going on. So the body scan can be a great form of meditation for those of us who have trouble just sitting still and relaxing, right? It gives your mind something to do. And this is where a guided meditation or some kind of active meditation can really help for those people who struggle to just quiet their mind. And without practice, it is really hard to just quiet your mind. But over time, it does get easier. So there's lots of tools out in the market to help you reach peak meditation. And a few classic pieces to consider are amala, which are also known as prayer beads. And this doesn't have to be prayer beads. It can be any kind of little tool, whether it's a bracelet or a charm or beads. And they can be useful in helping to count breaths. They can be worn as a reminder to meditate. It can be something to focus on the texture and the feel of in your hand, right? A chair or a cushion can be really helpful to meditation because you want to be comfortable as you sit. If the whole time you're trying to meditate, you're focusing on how uncomfortable your chair is because you're sitting in a hard surface or something that's like really uncomfortable, you're not going to really be able to let things go, right? So a bolster might work for some people, a soft pillow might work for others. You can test different materials. You might even just sit on your bed if you're most comfortable there. You can sit in a chair or on the sofa. There's also meditation apps. If you're not sure where to start with meditation, there's lots of different apps to help guide you, things like Headspace or all kinds of different ones where they'll guide you through a meditation. So we do actually have a guided meditation that Dr. Trish has prepared that some of you might already be familiar with. And we're going to share that tomorrow in the Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, you can send me an email and I can share the link to you, but we'll make that available to all of those who have attended. So a guided meditation is great because it gives you something to focus on. Basically, you're focusing on someone else's voice leading you through the process. And it can, again, help give your mind something to do. So yoga and meditation are practically one and the same in many ways. Both involve an in-depth focus on the breath, and both are rooted in the same ancient practices. In our Discover Health movement membership, Lisa, our yoga instructor, uses breath work in Discover Yoga and also in the self-myofascial release class. She typically starts the class with some breath work to give your body a signal that it's time to relax and unwind. And the same thing goes with Jim's Movement for Longevity class. He'll often start the class with some type of brief relaxation and then end the class with a diaphragm stretch to enable better breathing. So really the mindfulness part of it is a piece, but it's also that being able to move more freely and relax the body and just kind of focus. And I find those types of classes also to be really helpful because I'm so focused on what I'm learning and what I'm doing and focusing my mind on that. To me, it tends to be a little bit of a meditation in its own right because I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just focusing on the instructor, focusing on what they're leading me through. And it's probably the most captive I am with my mind for, an hour of class doing these various things where I'm not thinking about a whole bunch of other things. So tomorrow's resources will include a variety of yoga poses that can also help enhance meditation. Like I said, it doesn't have to be just sitting on a cushion cross-legged. You can be in a variety of different poses to help meditate. Meditation can be great for sleep. If a racing mind is keeping you awake at night, like I know so many people have this issue, it can be the perfect sleep aid. So here are some steps to keep in mind while you wind down for the night. One would be dim the lights 1 hour before bed and switch from ceiling lights to lamp light after 10 p.m. if you're up that late. Avoid looking at any screens because the blue light tricks your mind into thinking it's daytime and that it's time to be awake. So you really want to eliminate screen time before bed, at least for an hour, because otherwise you're cueing your brain, hey, it's time to be awake. Even with the blue light blockers, the active being on a screen, being engaged with the phone or the laptop is really kind of promoting a daytime activity and telling your brain it's time to be up. The other thing is, don't lay in bed if you can't fall asleep. Maybe get up and do something until you feel sleepy, or go through that body scan, or go through a guided meditation. Do something rather than just laying there tossing and turning and being frustrated. So Dr. Trish and I both use a program called Active Minds Global, which works through brain entrainment. And for me, this is like a form of meditation because I am focusing on the sounds. I let the rest of the world and the cares of the day just fade away before sleep. And it's really made a world of difference for me. And just listening to that thing, I just focus my attention on that, and I just breathe and kind of let everything go. So the full body scan, tension release, or guided meditation are great techniques to unwind before bed, especially for those of us who have really busy brains at night. When we lie down to be quiet and go to sleep, and that's when the thoughts are racing, that's when you want to have some kind of other focus for your brain. A morning meditation could have the opposite kind of energizing effect, but also a nice relaxing start to the day. Starting your day with something positive is the best way to start your day. There's tons of ways to create a unique morning meditation for yourself, but they all have two components: environment and practice. Setting the scene is crucial. You want to find a quiet space where you feel comfortable, maybe on your bed, maybe on the floor, or in a special meditation corner you've created for yourself. Practice for as long as you can. Maybe it's only 5 minutes. Maybe it's half an hour. Simply sit and breathe or repeat some mantras and incentives for the day. I also want to dispel a myth, and this is something I talked about at the beginning. Meditating does not necessarily mean that you're able to empty your mind completely. Some people get really frustrated as they try to turn off their busy brain. Especially when you're new to meditation and mindfulness, your brain may resist. That's totally normal. Your job is to simply let the thoughts come and let the thoughts go without getting too attached and following down the rabbit hole. Focusing on your breath, focusing on a mantra, or on someone else's voice during a guided meditation can all help give you a focal point for your mind. When the thoughts cause your mind to wander, you simply observe and bring your focus back to the breath, to the voice, or to the mantra. And it's also okay to start out with really short practice periods. You can work up to longer sessions over time if you like, but 5 minutes of meditation is better than 0 minutes of meditation, right? Or even if you can only fit in a minute. Like I said, when you're washing your hands or doing the dishes or eating, it's okay to just grab these little pieces of time to work this into your day. As we've discussed, meditation can be tailored to whatever you want it to be and whatever works for you and your schedule. For some people, morning meditation's best. For others, a nighttime routine can help lull them to sleep. Some people find solace in meditating several times throughout the day. Even a short meditation session can make a difference, as I just said, though it's been said that those of us who feel like we can't take 5 minutes to meditate probably need a lot longer. If you're like, I can't even do this for 5 minutes, you'd probably benefit from longer meditation over time, because if you're struggling to sit still because you're feeling so anxious or so busy, this could be a really good tool for you. But realize you're going to probably have to work up for it because your brain's not used to doing that, and that's perfectly fine. You would never run out and do a marathon when you've had no training. Same thing with meditation. You're not going to go from 0 to an hour when you've never done it. So cut yourself some slack, take a few minutes, and work up to it just like you would with anything else. Just 5 minutes for a better version of you to take on the day is worth it. And of course, anybody has time for 5 minutes. So breathing is something that we can control and regulate, and it's imperative to life, right? We've got to breathe in order to live. When we take slow and deep breaths, we're telling our body and our brain that everything's okay. Slow and deliberate breathing means our muscles soften, tension starts to melt away, oxygen delivery improves, blood pressure lowers, endorphins are released. So take a moment right now, wherever you're sitting, wherever you're standing, laying down, whatever you're doing, just adjust your posture. Take a few deep breaths. Pay attention to where you feel the breath. Don't try and adjust it, just notice. Do you breathe low in your belly or high in your chest or somewhere in the middle or both? Pay attention for a couple of breaths. Just focus on the breath. Are you comfortable breathing in and out through your nose or through your mouth? Or do you do a combination? No judgments, just observe. So see that? You just got in a tiny meditation. You didn't even know you were going to do it. It's not that hard to fit in a minute here or a minute there. All you got to do is just compile these little tiny segments. So have you ever felt so overwhelmed that you could scream into a pillow or feel like you're pulling your hair out? Sometimes this would happen in traffic when I used to commute, I remember. So here's a quick little de-stress that you can do. Try the 4-7-8 exercise. First, and you can try it now with me if you'd like. First, we're going to exhale completely through our mouth, making a whoosh sound. Going to exhale all that breath. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose to a mental count of 4. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale completely to a count of 8. So you're going to exhale completely. Close your mouth. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. And exhale completely to a count of 8. And if 7 seconds is too long, if you're not practiced at doing some of this breathing work, that might be too long. So try a mental count of 4, exhale, or hold your breath rather, to a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 6. If that's too long, try stepping it back. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale for 5. Right? It's okay to work up to any of these recommendations. You can repeat this as necessary until you feel your blood pressure lowering and your body relaxing. Another quick way to do it, you don't have to hold your breath, is you just inhale a little bit shorter than you exhale. So a longer exhale will tell your body it's okay to relax. So inhale for a count of 3, say, exhale for a count of 6, inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 8, however you want to do it, just make your exhale longer than your inhale. If you've tried it, any of these things as we've been going along, feel free to type in the chat your observations or how it made you feel. So with everything going on around us, it's easy to get sucked into negative because, like I said, humans are hardwired for negative. And if you don't believe that, just watch the news. And it's really easy to lose track of the things that are positive. If you sense this happening, just test out this 5-minute gratitude practice. Use your breath to anchor yourself to the present moment. Just focus on your breath. Picture something that you're grateful for. And I invite you to do this with me right now. So nice deep breath. Picture something you're grateful for, whether it's a person, a pet, a place, a thing. Shift your senses now to whatever's around you. Are there any scents? Do you smell anything? Is there any aroma? Now tune to the sounds. What kind of sounds do you hear? What can you feel? Switch to the tactile. Do you feel your shoes on your feet? Or your feet on the floor? Or the fabric of your shirt against your shoulders? Lastly, just take a moment and be grateful for the senses that you have. How lucky are we to be here in this moment together to experience the world? So, as always, there's a ton of resources that went into putting together this presentation, and we will be sharing all of those in the Facebook group tomorrow. As I mentioned, if you're not part of the Facebook group, all you need to do is find our Discover Health Functional Medicine Center Facebook page, request to be part of the group. We'll be happy to let you in. And if for some reason you don't do Facebook, that's fine. Just email me and we will send you the resources. And I'll put my email in the chat in just a moment. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join me for these mini meditations in this topic. I hope you learned something valuable. All right, so for anybody who would like to do a little bit of a longer body scan, we'll take a few minutes now. We're going to go head to toe. So we're going to first take a nice deep breath in. Let it out. Another deep breath in. Let it out. You can either be sitting in a comfortable position, you can be laying down, whatever you prefer. With the next breath in, sigh out all your tension. We're going to start at the top of our head. I want you to feel the roots of your hair on your scalp. Feel your hair relaxing with your breath. So continue to breathe in and out and feel your scalp relaxing. I want you to move your attention down to your forehead. Feel the wrinkles on your forehead. I want you to scrunch your forehead as tight as you can. Take a deep breath in and then relax your forehead. Make it nice and smooth. Relax all the tension in your forehead. Move down to your eyes. Squeeze your eyes shut and then relax your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathe out. Scrunch up your nose and then relax your nose. Move your attention over to your temples. In your mind's eye, feel your temples relax. Then move to your cheeks and your jaw. Maybe clench your jaw just for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Relax and let all that tension in your jaw go away. Let your teeth separate. Let your chin relax. Move down your chin, underneath your chin to your neck, just underneath your ears. Feel if there's any remaining tension in your neck and just let it all go with the next breath. Nice, long, lean, relaxed neck. Maybe do a little head roll side to side. Roll your neck. Let all that tension fall onto your shoulders. Scrunch your shoulders up to your ears and then let them all down. Let that tension just roll off your shoulders. Physically roll off your shoulders. Just watch it all go. Nice breath in, breath out. You're going to travel your attention down your arms. Feeling your biceps and your triceps relax, the front and the back of your arms, all the way down to your elbows, through your forearms, down to your hands. I want you to clench your fists as hard as you can, and then just let them go with the next breath. Widen your fingers as wide as you can, and then just let them be really soft. Maybe wiggle your fingers, let all the tension evaporate down your arms, through your fingers, and out into the room. Now we're going to go back up to the chest. I want you to pay attention. Is there any tension left over in the chest? Make sure it just all rolls off. It's going to roll down your chest, past the ribs, down the belly. We're going to go up to the back of the shoulders. Let go of any tension there. And bring your shoulder blades back towards each other and then round your back. Let all that tension just cascade off your back. Go down your back. all the way to your seat, to the top of your thighs. Squeeze the top of your thighs and then let them go with the next breath. You're going to take that tension down the back of the thighs, over to the knees, over to the calves. You're going to feel if there's any remaining tension in the back of the calves. If so, you're just going to pull that tension down to your ankles. You're going to scrunch up your toes and then relax your feet with the next breath. Roll your ankles, maybe one direction and then the other. Let that tension loosen up, go through your feet and out your toes. I want you to take another breath. Let it out. On the next breath, take your mind's eye and just scan your whole body, looking for any last little remnants of that tension. And if you find a piece, just soften, send your breath to that spot and your awareness, and just let it go. Take 2 more breaths. Scan all the way up and all the way down. And imagine you're just melting into your seat or into your bed or your floor, wherever you're laying down. Letting all the tension go. Have your arms be heavy and your legs be heavy. Let your eyes be relaxed. Take another deep breath. Let it out. And just let your whole body soften. Take a few more breaths at your own pace. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers, maybe roll your head a little bit, do a couple circles, maybe wiggle the ankles. Take a few more breaths. And when you're done with your last breaths, you can open your eyes and come back in. All right, so that was our little extra body scan guided meditation. All right, so like I said, I will post tomorrow the resources. Sherry or I will post them in the Facebook group. I will also post a link to the guided meditation that Dr. Trish does. I think that one is probably a longer guided meditation, but again, if you only have a few minutes, you can always hit pause, take the time that you have to do it. And as always, our movement membership classes are open. You can find details of that on our website as well. And that definitely includes some of these types of pieces with breathing and with focus along with movement. So if that intrigues you, feel free to check that out as well. Great. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, relaxing evening.